The Doomer Bloomer podcast is a community for the resurrection of good ideas. We profile the hero's journey in weekly episodes and teach people about the 10 pillars framework for success in life, business, and relationships. Our mission is to find and help all Doomer Bloomers with mental health issues, poverty mindset, lack of resources, and those left behind in this world. Tune in weekly with Will S. and occasionally John Wynn as we have deep conversations with guests about the hero's journey, clown world order, and the resurrection of good ideas. To help support our community, go to www.thedoomerbloomerpodcast.com/support to become a member today. And remember, we are the cure for COVID-19. Welcome back to the Doomer Bloomer podcast with Will S. Tonight's episode is going to be a little different because I don't actually have a guest this week. I've decided that for every once in a while, I think I'm just going to record my own thoughts and conversations with myself for the week. And I'm going to try and keep it under 15 minutes on average, just because I think that's about the length of a too long didn't read. I don't have a particular topic in mind, but I was thinking about how COVID-19 has changed the entire landscape for the whole world, for the society at large. And I don't want to focus on the negatives. I actually want to focus on the positives. So this podcast is going to be about how COVID-19 has changed the world in a good way. Like vaccines aside, pandemic aside, whether you're for vaccines, against vaccines, whether you think this is a cabal at the highest level trying to get a one world government established, whether you think they're trying to microchip people, either or. I know in a lot of places in the States, they've reopened. Florida, Maryland, Texas, up here in communist Canada, as I'm starting to call it lately. We are still in the state of a lockdown in most places. There are apparently multiple variants going around. Not too sure what variants those are, but apparently that's a thing. I'm just going to look up the latest numbers in Canada. COVID numbers, Canada. So apparently we are at 1.38 million and 1.32 recovered and 25,000 deaths. By province, it's been broken down as 531,000 cases in Ontario, 508,000 cases recovered, 8,744 deaths. Quebec, 370K recovered, 355K deaths, 11,127. Alberta, 227K, 217 recovered, 2,219 deaths. British Columbia, 146K, does not say recovered or the deaths. Manitoba, very low number of cases, 50,000, 45,169, and number of deaths, 1,052. I just want to make it be perfectly clear. I am neither pro-vaccine nor opposition to vaccine. I am pro-human life, meaning that if somebody wants to take a vaccine and they have the legal sound of mind to make that decision, it's not forced upon them, then by all means, go ahead and take a vaccination. What I am not against is forcing people to take vaccines in order to travel, cross borders, or do commerce in certain provinces or territories. That is a violation of the freedom of mobility and rights and freedom under the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom, which was established in the 1980s. I'm going to get that link right now, just so I'm not talking out my butt. Canadian Charter. Now, we have certain unalienable rights in Canada, and freedom of mobility is one of them. And freedoms. So, if I should choose to go, let's say, for example, to the Yukon, I should be able to freely go to the Yukon without any restrictions, on my mobility to cross that border at any time in Canada, because I am a citizen of Canada. I have a Canadian passport, I have a Canadian birth certificate, I have a Canadian driver's license. However, when I go to the Yukon, COVID restrictions. I go to the Yukon. So it says Yukon has no travel restrictions, but some people may have to self-isolate after traveling to the territory. So download the information for people entering the Yukon brochure. Every person entering the Canada has to quarantine for. So I go to the border restrictions for the Yukon, okay? And this is current as of the 28th of May. So it says I have to keep myself safe and practice safe 6. I don't know what that is. What the hell is safe 6? That's like the number of people you're allowed to have. Oh, 6 steps. +1. Keep your distance. Embrace not each other. Keep your hands clean. So it's 6 steps to sharing the love, not the germs. Okay. Very weird that I need to have that told to me from the Yukon government. It says no travel restrictions, but the people who need to self-isolate after traveling to the territory. So I click that, and then I'm going to download the brochure, and then I go, if I'm arriving in Canada, I need to quarantine for 14 days, and if I have to self-isolate, you may change or revoke blah, blah, blah. If you received your second dose, people are fully vaccinated. If you receive your second dose of vaccine approved in Canada at least 14 full days before you enter Canada. When you come to the Yukon, you must complete a declaration form upon entry upon you're fully vaccinated and consent to your vaccination status. Proof of vaccination. If I got my shot in the Yukon or British Columbia, I do not need to submit proof of vaccination. Critical care service workers, residents of the border areas. You live in British Columbia area or the Yukon border. You have not been outside the border area in the 14 days before you arrive in Yukon. Border areas include Atlin, Lower Post, Fireside, Jade City, Good Hope, Fraser, and Pleasant Camp. Who has to self-isolate in the Whitehorse? All residents of Canada who do not live in the Yukon. Residents of the Yukon living in Whitehorse who've traveled outside the Yukon. If you're a Yukoner living in the Yukon community, outside of Whitehorse have traveled outside the territory, where can you you're responsible for covering the cost of your self-isolation accommodation. You cannot self-isolate at the government Yukon campground. You can self-isolate in a hotel or similar accommodation. So that means I can't take my travel trailer to the Yukon. And as a Canadian citizen, that really pisses me off. If I want to go to the don't know. Okay. Interesting. Alright. Self-isolation after travel, during which you've asked to stay home. Required to self-isolate after travel, you should have a self-isolation plan in place for when you return to the Yukon. Yukon law requires every person entering the Yukon from within Canada to self-isolate for 14 days. There are only a few exceptions. You must follow the self-isolation guidelines the moment you enter the territory by land or air. If you're arriving in Yukon from outside of Canada, you have to follow federal rules for the quarantine. Other reasons to self-isolate, including waiting for COVID-19 tests, contacting of COVID-19. If you've been self-isolating any of these other reasons, follow the instruction you've been given. How to self-isolate alone with other travel companions. The place where you self-isolate must be completely separate from anyone who is not self-isolating. You can stay in your own home, self-contained suite. Self-contained vacation home or Airbnb, and recreational vehicle on private property. Let's say I had residence in the Yukon, then I could stay there. Okay, makes a lot better sense. All right. The other thing I've been wondering about as well is what has happened with Couchsurfing since the website Couchsurfing.com. That was something I used to do in my 20s, and I was wondering about if they even exist anymore underneath the COVID restrictions. It's been a while since I've looked them up. So apparently they still exist, which is kind of cool. Due to impact of COVID-19, we need your immediate help to keep Couchsurfing alive. $399 Canadian taxes and fees, or $20 Canadian. I'm not paying them right now. I just want to go to the website. So I guess if they don't get any money, they're basically, they're shit out of luck. For all of us who are members of the Couchsurfing believe in something greater than money, possessions, and status, it took over 14 years for the Couchsurfing community to come together. Without your immediate help, this community will be lost forever. Yeah, I wondered if this had killed Couchsurfing. And I was right. So if you folks out there are listening to this podcast, the Doomer Bloomer podcast, I just want to say I love each and one of you guys very much. But if you're a listener, long time, short term, or just tuning in for the first time, this is a community for the resurrection of good ideas. We're teaching the 10 pillars for success in life, business, and relationships. We're talking about helping people with poverty mindset, lack of resources, and the sufferers of mental health and addictions. If you sit or are in any one of those categories, I can help you. Just reach out to me directly, or go to our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram handle. Reach out to me directly at my Twitter. But it's best to hit me up at Doomer Podcast on the Twitter page. We are in dire need over here of a change in the world, a change for the better. From what I've been seeing lately, governments and corporations have way too much control of the general population. I'm not trying to be anti-establishment. I'm not trying to cause an uprising. I genuinely want there to be peace on earth for forever. And this is not about me. This is about the community coming together and saving the world. So if you are a doomer bloomer and you fit any of the categories that I just discussed, please join my Patreon. There's 3 different tiers. First level tier gets you access to a bunch of cool perks. Not excluding access to the Discord server, where I'm helping a lot of other people on their doomer to bloomer path. I'm going to put a bunch of links in the description again. I'm going to put a link to the Couchsurfing page, because I personally do not want to see Couchsurfing go down the toilet. 14 years of work, and then COVID comes along and just basically torpedoes the whole thing. Yeah, maybe they're going to have to adapt just like Airbnb did. But you have to remember, at a fundamental level, we're all human beings. You need food, shelter, and security, love, peace, and understanding. And then if you start working on your health, wealth, and wisdom, you can go from a doomer to a bloomer. All right? And that's what this podcast is all about. Getting people from that place of doom and gloom and getting them back on their feet in a mental, physical, emotional, spiritual well-being, mind, body, and spirit, as some other people would say. This COVID situation is not going to last forever. But in the meantime, let's not tear each other apart at the seams. Let's not act like barbarians. Let's remain human. Let's remain dignified. Let's follow the tenets of the Tao Te Ching, mainly coming from a place of love and understanding. And I don't really want to get religious here because it turns some people off, but we are non-denominational here at the Doomer Bloomer podcast. We accept all creeds, religions, races, sexualities, and we're all about inclusion and coming together in mutual understanding, but not to the detriment of other people. If any of those things vibe with you and you're listening to this right now, go to the Patreon page. Go to www.thedoomerbloomerpodcast.com/support and become a member today. We're working very hard here at the Doomer Bloomer headquarters to make some great content for you guys. If you're enjoying that content, you gotta support it. You don't get things that you get for free don't become very valuable. Aren't usually very valued. So I work hard to make this an entertaining podcast. Again, every once in a while you're going to hear me chime in, give my 2 cents about things. I try and make it 50-50 when the guests come on. And if you are listening to this and you want to hear different, diverse content, you want to help me get on other podcasts, let me know. Send me Send me a Twitter or an Instagram or a Facebook message. And we can get this snowball rolling. Wherever you are in the world, have a great and positive day. Namaste, Will S.